I would probably say that the most common mistake a startup can make is designing features that are not important. Because if you're a startup, meaning you haven't really proven your sort of value proposition in the market, you should be worried on making sure that your company is going to stay for at least 1 to 3 years in the market, which is your value proposition has to stick. If not, you're going to run out of budget very quickly. You're not going to like actually be able to make a name for yourself. But instead of making one thing very good in your startup and focusing on what needs to be done and do it very quickly in a way that it's very engaging, most startups build features that are already in the market, or they don't focus on the one thing that they should do, but then instead they lose time building five other features around that one core feature that really not going to make me want to stay in that app or that system or that service. So I think they lose a lot of time by doing that, and it comes from a very honest sort of feeling that they need to be displaying that they're mature enough for the competition or that they're worth the attention by doing a lot of things. But more often than not, these startups that are actually big and they get funding and they show success in the market, they often do one thing, and some things they even start with less than ideal sort of circumstances. I always think of the Dropbox example, and I know it's a different market and a different time, but Dropbox at the beginning, they didn't even have login or sign up. We used to create startups or MVPs that they didn't have email subscriptions, logins, signups, forgot my password, onboarding, retrieve my password. These are all things that I know that people are used to it by now, and you would maybe think that there's something missing if it weren't there. But successful startups, you can, if your value proposition is that important and you're that different from the competition and you do one thing very good, we can overlook these other things that are not as important. So I would say that the most common mistake that the startups make is not having a very clear value proposition and focusing too much on minor things that only add very minimal value to the prop itself. Just do one thing very, very good, and people are going to want your product even more. And that's a good metric for you. You can even say, hey, guys, it's not done. I know that this one thing that I'm doing is creating a lot of hype, and you've already proven that there is a lot of value and people worth willing to give you money to access to your product or service. I think that is the most important thing that you can do as a startup.